Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome, friend. I'm so excited to have a new best friend with me. And we are going to talk about a topic that I didn't know about for so many years. So Shalece is with us here today. Everything about her that she wanted to share with you is in the show notes. Any links we talk about in our conversation is in the show notes. So you can go right there, find a way to contact her. But I thought burning the candle at both ends and going and going and going and going and going was what made you important to other people. I wanted to look successful in all areas of my life, and I just pushed. And guess what? We don't have to push all the time. And Shalece is going to talk to us about radical rest. And I asked her, I'm not sure what radical rest is. I know what rest is, but I want to learn more about taking that time for you. You need to take time for you. And Shalece is going to help us both learn how to do this. So take it away.
Hey, Laura, thank you so much for bringing up radical, because a friend of mine was talking about, I have her book here on the desk, was talking about self-care. And every time she said something about self-care, in my mind, I thought radical self-care, like really extreme or really something different or departure from the norm. And she would say, I didn't say radical self-care. I just said deep self-care. I said whatever. And I'm like, well, I radical rest. And so that is when it came into my mind. And I can't say that it's trademarked, but when you said that, I was like, perhaps I should trademark. Yes, because I think about radical rest. For me, rest is the root word of restoration. And when we restore, we come back from that burnout that many of us, I'm sure our friend that's listening to us right now, running, high driving, high achieving, high status, high title. And that the more that we go and we go and go, the less that we have for ourselves. And we need to take time to restore. And that's why I talk about rest, because that is what restores me and recharges. When I talk about radical, how about you rest the way that you want? And you and I, Laura, have had conversations that talked about there's no normal. But when we think rest, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
And go lay down in bed and be boring.
Yeah, sleep. Sleep. Same for me, except that didn't always recharge me. In fact, I have a husband that snores so many times. When I tried to get rest, it didn't restore me at all. But you know what did? I climbed a mountain in October of last year, and that was so recharging. It recharged my batteries probably for weeks on end. I felt like I was on a high. And that's what I mean by radical rest in your way. And then there are times, Laura, that I will just hang out in a hammock and not do anything. And my husband's not there snoring next to me. And so that does give me a way to rejuvenate and recharge my batteries. And that's what I mean by radical rest. Whatever restores you, do it. And don't try to rest in the normal way or restore in the normal way. Explore things. Restore in a way that makes you whole.
It makes me think about the people. I get back to the office on Monday, and the first thing anybody would ever ask you is, what'd you do this weekend? And it's like one person would say, oh, I was lazy all weekend. I go, no, Perry's not lazy. You took time to recharge. Why do we think that we always have to be producing something physical or something beyond that. And I think I mentioned this to you, that Stephen Covey quote about sharpening the saw.
Yes.
If you haven't read the book, it talks about, these two guys cutting down the tree as fast as possible. And one's going and going and going and going and going and going. And the other guy keeps sitting down, and the other one goes and goes and goes. It's like, I'm going to beat this. The other guy keeps sitting down and going and going and going. And the other guy wins.
Yeah.
And they're like, how did you win? You kept taking a break. And he says, I was sharpening my saw. I was able to stay sharp. I was able to do things because I took the time to do me.
I think about that, and I was that person. I didn't know how to turn it off. And I'm positive that it stemmed from a scarcity mindset, that if I turn it off, someone else is going to catch me, or they're going to beat me, or I'm going to somehow be trumped or smothered by something or someone else. And it was this imaginary person or thing that was going to take everything that I had worked so hard to earn. And it had never come true before, but that's because I never turned off. That's because I kept going. And what I found is I said, forget it, I'm done. And Laura, I moved to Costa Rica. In 2020, December, I went on a vacation. I loved it so much, I extended it by a week. Then I extended it by 30 days. Before you knew it, it was 5 months had lapsed. And I was there. It felt so good. Here's why. It's slow there. Sometimes the internet didn't work. Our power went out. Not just the internet, but the power. Sometimes the water went out. And that meant it's a beach day. And do you know what you do when you go to the beach? Absolutely nothing. And it recharged my batteries in such a way that it inspired me, motivated me to create the right systems and processes in my business so that I could continue to do absolutely nothing. And it felt so good. I feel like I went into this place that I would have called lazy before, but I went into this place that I couldn't do anything. It was like this deep recovery for probably the entire 5 months that I was there.
Wow.
That's where I first said yes to myself. That's where I first discovered quote unquote radical rest, because meanwhile I was doing kickboxing and riding my bike for these long bike rides and swimming with whales or watching the whales and doing these things that I never would have done at home. Never. I just fell in love.
Wow. I love that. I love that feeling of, guess what? A bike ride is rest. It's your time to let go of all those thoughts and that drive of, I've got to do this, got to do this, you just get to enjoy nature for that time and recharge. It is recharging. I know so many people that go to the beach or the mountains or the lake, or that is their rest. Even, okay, people that want to do a cold plunge. Okay. I haven't decided to do that yet, but that is their reset button. What is it that's your reset button? Do you?
Yeah. And many times, Laura, what I found in the clients that I coach is they don't know how to rest. They don't even know how to figure out what they like to do. And so there is an exercise that I provide, and I hope that our friend that's listening to us has either done this or some form of this, or that this could help them. And I take a moment and I breathe and I think about, what would life be like to just, what are the things that I've wanted to do? Whether it's painting popped into my mind. So I signed up for a class at the community and I painted and I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. So I abandoned that. But it's something that I at least tried. And for me, it recharged me. I took a minute to meditate while I was there. There's an album in my phone that I have. I went through pictures and I put my favorite pictures that really lit me up into an album. And now when I take a break from my work, I look at this album and I'm recharged. And I consider that radical rest. I put on a timer for 2 minutes and I just go deep into this album that I've created of me rest, doing something or nothing.
It almost sounds like a gratitude process of you're looking at those things that these are parts of your life that you cherish and you love. And when we can be thankful for the things that brought us to where we're at, there's so much more peace, so much more joy. I love it.
It is. And I do have a similar gratitude practice in the morning, but maybe gratitude charges me. Maybe that's it. Just sitting deep in gratitude for a few minutes, it really lights me up. It makes me remember all those things that filled me at the time that I was doing them. From climbing mountains to laying in a hammock and doing absolutely nothing to dancing. I take dance breaks, Laura. I put my timer on for 20 minutes and I'll bang out a project. I'll get up for 5 minutes and I'll take a dance break.
Oh my, I enjoy music that makes me want to move. It's like my body doesn't usually like to move, but if something spurs it, and it was like the other day, I like to dance.
I mean, you can chair dance. You know how you're sitting and you're listening, you're grooving and moving. Go ahead and move and dance in your chair. There's so many things that you can do that recharge you from the mundane, the droning, the caring for the kids, the long commute, the tasks that you have to get done at work, the inevitable list that I never check off. I never complete my checklist, but it doesn't mean that I won't reward myself for the things that I have done. I'm going to still take that break because when I get back to that list and I know that some things have not been checked, I'm going to feel good.
Have more something energy to do. If they were all checked off, what would you do?
I love that concept. If it was all checked out, what would you do? Yeah.
You got to be thankful for that thing in your mind that gives you something to refocus on. It's like, I need to refocus. What else? Okay.
At least you can do it with a little bit of motivation. I think it was Zig Ziglar, the first person that I heard say, well, people ask, why do you continue to listen to the motivational speakers? He says, well, that's like saying, why do you take a bath every day? You still need to continue to do it to remind yourself. And I do. I need that motivation. I need that inspiration. And that's what a part of my radical rest does for me. And I talk about this a lot, living a delicious life. Since 2020, December of 2020, I feel like I've been on this delicious life journey. Something that I'm just trying to find things that are better and better and taste better and better and better. And I have a whole list of things that I've done.
Oh, wow. And we're going to be here forever because I want to hear some of this list.
Not forever. That won't keep us here forever.
No, because we need to rest.
Because we need to rest. You got that right. And I have something planned coming up that will create an environment for people to rest.
You want to give us a clue?
I can give you a clue. It's a radical rest retreat. And while I've already conducted one in April, I have another one coming up in September. And you're going to be in my favorite place, Costa Rica. And it'll be 5 whole days that we will be radically resting, doing something or nothing at all with no judgment. Because what is normal? I think we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
There isn't.
It sounds like my kind of retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I like these, like, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to hike here and we're going to do this. And like, oh, that would be exhausting.
I mean, I scheduled breakfast to last for 2 hours because I want you to have an opportunity to eat and talk or go journal and read. Then we've got nap time scheduled in. We have beach time. We're doing a photo shoot, just a relaxing photo shoot on the beach, capturing you doing something or nothing. It's a really good time.
All right. Sign me up, girl.
So
I
no
wanna
show
play
notes.
with these people.
Yeah, yes, it's going to be beautiful, Laura. And I hope that it's a departure from this hard going, hardcore driving lifestyle that we have all crafted for us because achievement is important, right?
Yeah.
Status is important. Title
Oh,
is
yeah.
important.
Because without it, who are you?
Who are you?
You.
Who are
You're
you
still
without it?
you. And like if that's not your gig, that's okay.
It is.
And I think that this retreat sounds like an amazing time for someone to say, hey, this is going to be the first step for me learning how to be okay
Mm.
taking time to do what recharges me. It might be painting, it might be horseback riding, it might be sitting in a hammock, it might be wiggling your toes in the sand, whatever it is, learning to right now. What is it that would make you feel a little more at home?
Mm.
Or,
We're doing some digital detoxing.
oh no,
I
we
know.
can't take our phones
The
with
gasp,
us.
the face you just made. We're doing some scheduled digital detoxing so we can learn to sit with ourselves. And I'm hoping that we can take that with us, learning how to digitally detox and move into your everyday life with these tools. I know that it's going to be just as good as the first time. I know that we're going to take back some skills that we can integrate into our high driving lives. But the main thing that we've brought home from this and that you would bring home with you is knowing that it is okay. And when you get back, it's not going to break too badly such that you cannot piece things back together or repair some things that you may need. You may come back to a mailbox full of emails. And you know what? You're going to be ready and in the mood and in the energy space to tackle them.
It's beautiful. We do need to take a break. We're going to let our sponsor kind of put a word in here. But when we come back, I'm kind of curious. We can look forward to the future. I can look forward to a retreat to turn that on. But what can I do right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right now to make a difference in my life to start turning on that switch. So when we come back, let's talk about that.
This podcast is sponsored by Lara Jane Coaching. You know you're ready to silence your inner bully voice. Let Lara Jane support you with coaching. To schedule an introduction call, go to larajanelayton.com.
All right. Help me. I don't want to wait 10 more minutes. I don't want to wait another week or month. I want to start being comfortable right now. What can I do right now?
I love it.
To start thinking about giving myself permission to rest. I say first thing, throw that L word out. We don't use lazy anymore. It's now a cuss word. Gone.
Done. Laura said, throw that L word out. It doesn't serve us, It makes us feel bad. It comes from a negative point of view. And we're getting rid of things that don't serve us. And I have some ideas for some things that do serve us.
Okay.
One of the things that I like that I have that's been a lifesaver is the Focus Keeper. Focus Keeper is another digital app, right? Who needs another app? But this is what I use, and I have an alternative. And I think Laura's going to really like this. Before I talk about the alternative, though, Focus Keeper is an app that you can set to the time of whatever time you would like to focus. And it's based on the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro method, in its traditional sense, have you set a timer for 25 minutes and then you get a 5-minute break. And you do 4 blocks of that, and then you get a 30-minute break. But what I love about Focus Timer is it allows me to set a timer for whatever time I desire. And I choose either 12 or 20 minutes that said I go hard during those times. That really long laundry list of things, I put my most difficult task at the top, and I set a 20-minute timer, which is what you can do, my friend. A 20-minute timer, and then work on that task that you've been procrastinating, or that's a huge project, or that you've put in the back of your mind. And once that timer goes off, you look forward to that thing that you've planned that's going to give you pleasure. Is it your pleasure or joy album that you can scroll through? Is it a song that you want to listen to? Is it a YouTube video you've been thinking about watching about some esoteric type of topic, or nothing at all? Is it your self-care? Do you want to go put on a mask? Do you want to get up and dance? Those are things that I do within my 5-minute breaks that make me feel so good and recharged to go right into that next task for the next 20-minute timer that I set. That's how you can start right now, today, my friend.
Schedule the time to let your brain not stay so focused and relax for a moment. It's really funny because I've been in like all day trainings where they had timers up, and every hour, whether I wanted to get out of my seat or not, was a time for you to get up, turn around, do whatever, sit back down. And it was that change of gear, that refreshing. And it wasn't even moments. It was moments, not minutes. It was, I'll stand up. Let's stretch. If you can't stand up, stretch, wiggle your body. And that was enough to get you out of that cerebral think mode into, okay, rest back in my body. We can do this. And it was moments, but I know that it made sitting through 4 days of training so much easier.
Ooh, so I think about when you said take that breath, Laura, and that's how you tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. And tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system, when we practice meditation or when we practice breathing, that's when you are opening yourself up to releasing stress and tapping into your intuition. And when we think about when we've made the biggest splash in our lives, either corporate life or entrepreneurial life, we've come up with these grand ideas. Our minds are in this creative space, and taking those breaths, even just for moments, like you did when you said 4-day training, I had PTSD because I used to do training, and I'm like, those things were grueling. They could be grueling.
Yes.
And taking a moment to breathe, to tap into, recenter, come back down into your body, opens you up for so much more creativity. And that's what we need, so we can keep doing things that sometimes, quite frankly, Laura, let's be honest, the jobs that we have many times are to pay the bills. We've stuck ourselves into these lifestyles that us and our families are depending on. And we have to find some pleasure or joy in there. And taking time to rest and radically rest for yourself will honestly allow you to get through to get through, when you said that, to get through some of those tougher periods and maintain a healthier, positive mental state.
I get these really fun analogies that just pop in my head when someone's talking. And this is one I hadn't thought about before. But have you ever had a funnel that you needed to fill up a small lid bottle, and you put the funnel in there and you start pouring? Guess what you have to do? You have to stop. And you have to let the liquid go through. If you just poured, it's going to flow over. It's not going to work. Everything that was being funneled into you is not going to make it. But if you just take that one moment and let it work through what you've already consumed. Okay, here's more. Okay, that's as much as I can handle right now. Let it through. Okay. I was like, I used to fill up, here's my kombucha bottles. And it's like, wait, you just kind of have to pour slowly because it'd get backed up. And if you kept pouring, it's going to overflow and you're going to lose it. And so our rest period is letting the funnel catch up so that you can assimilate all of life.
That's beautiful. Something as inanimate as like, I think about traveling and I think about pouring my conditioner into one of those little travel sides with the funnel.
Yep.
And it's true. I can't just pour. In fact, sometimes I have to take the funnel out to give it a little bit more air space and then put it back down and then finish pouring the conditioner and or shampoo in there. Interesting. Even inanimate objects need space.
Yes.
So what about us? Completely organic, right?
You would think that that's even more obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if something that it isn't alive needs it. What about all the life? Yeah. We need even more space.
We do. Yeah. It's not encouraged though, because I think about us in terms of being a society that is taught to produce, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're only worth what you produce. What I can physically see, you produce, right? So that space is not taught. I remember walking through the office and a manager, a leader complimenting me on walking fast all the time. And I thought it was a compliment, but it's because I was always rushing and had 10 million things in my brain. And I walk different. I walk different now. I saunter.
You walk with enjoyment. I'm going to enjoy each step. Why only enjoy the destination? When you're going so fast, you miss the journey, and the journey is important. And it's sad that society makes us feel like you're only worthy of love and anything if you're a high producing person.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was really, really true, there wouldn't be so many high achieving people getting divorced because they couldn't cope with it all. And divorce is everywhere. It's not just for high achieving people, but it's that peace, it's that drive that takes you away from what truly matters is you and your interpersonal life. That's what counts. The other's just the fun things we get to add. It's nice to have money, but it's not important because it doesn't make you. And you, my friend, you are so important that I want you to feel important enough to step back and take that time for you.
For yourself. And Laura, with us and the person that's listening to this podcast, it may sound impossible. So we're telling them to do it, right? And yet I feel like I'm not giving them the skills on how to do it or the support or the secret sauce on how to do it. And so I want to say something.
Okay.
Download Focus Keeper.
Okay.
Or that non-traditional method, get an hourglass of whatever of whatever time that you prefer. Because everyone isn't all techie and digital. The timer going off could distract them more than it could help. So if they got what my friend Laura swears by, an hourglass, some type of timekeeper, and put it on their desk, it could quite possibly help trigger a reminder around it's time for me to take a rest, to have a break.
Okay, so yes, you're right. I love my hourglasses. And this is why that 20 minutes is a solid rule. And if I'm right in the middle of a solid thought, I want to finish it before something beeps in my ear because that distraction makes it harder to refocus. But if I look down and go, oh, I've got just a little bit more, or oh, I guess it's time for a break. It's through. I can gauge that without something just interrupting my thought process. And because I've tried them all and I like the silence, the visual silence.
So in my corporate life, I was a trainer for a Fortune 30 for Comcast. I was a national trainer for Comcast and I traveled a lot. And one of my spiels would be this: please turn off your cell phones, put them away. Scientific studies show that if something dings right in the middle of a thought, it takes you 15 minutes to really get back to the topic at hand. And that drives home more, Laura, having the timer, the silent, gentle reminder of an hourglass. And it's very pretty. And it reminds me of there was like a soap opera that my aunt used to. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I am that old. Yeah.
Through the how did it go through not that it matters, I guess.
I don't remember, but I know exactly what it was. Part of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've inspired me to buy an hourglass because I want to see if it makes a difference for that ding, because I do notice when it says ding, I'm like, oh, just one more minute. Let me finish this.
Right. But you could finish your thought. And here I'm trying to convince somebody and just gently glance at it. And you go, I got more. I can keep going.
Yeah.
Or it's time. Now, if you really want that solid awaker, you use 2.
Yeah.
The dinger for if you went way over. Because you know us. We're going to just go, oh, I can keep going. I'm not tired yet. So you might want that mean awakening when you're a little bit. Let's set your goal and then set your hard stop.
You know what I love? There's no one right way.
Yeah, that's why it's your goal.
We started by you saying, what's normal? There is no normal, And so there is no one right way. Allow yourself the freedom and the grace to try many things and anything. And don't feel bad about abandoning one method and finding another method that works for you. And guess what? Don't feel bad about next week or next year or 5 years from now changing that method and going back to the thing that didn't work for you that may work for you now.
Yeah, I always say the only person that's not allowed to change is the politician because we'll use it against you. But everybody else, it's like, it's okay. So we did stupid stuff back then. Like we all did. But okay, go ahead and hold it against me now. But you aren't a politician. So you can change. They're going to anyway. But
Just,
anyway, they're the ones that get caught all the time in it. But the rest of it's progression. The rest of it's we've progressed. Instead of looking at look what they did way back when. Why couldn't we reframe as look how far they've come? Like so made a mistake way back when. It's look where we've come. Because it's
this game. I think it's this game of pointing out other people's mistakes or like, oh, I gotcha, and I don't, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel compassionate. It doesn't feel freeing. It doesn't feel supportive as if you want me to win and society at large to win. It feels crippling, suffocating.
Yeah.
Mistakes are good. My stepson has this shirt that says, let's all make mistakes. Let's all make mistakes.
And I think that gives you the freedom to not be what someone else is expecting you to be. Now, don't make a mistake on your own soul, your own personality, but be okay with not pleasing all the outside people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that you can please yourself. Because in the end, that negative self-talk that you brought up, you have to live with that.
Yeah.
You do. There was a thought. I don't know what happened to the thought that I had. I think it revolved around let's all make mistakes. It'll come back. I'm sure it's this whole aging thing. It came back. See, okay. So we talk about boxes. We talk about other people's opinions of us. And I was a very young mother I was married young, and I was divorced for the first time young. And I feel like majority of my life had to do with living into other people's expectations. So much so that I didn't even know what I wanted. And the first time I ever asked myself, what do you truly desire? And then gave myself permission to answer honestly, I felt free. I would implore I would implore you, my friend, my listener, to ask yourself and write it down and even create a note in your journal or notepad or in your phone if that's something that you carry around a lot. Like me, I'm more of a tech leaning person. What do you desire? And once I put that in the universe, things start being revealed. Like, oh, I really liked the way that that tasted, or I liked driving this route, or I liked doing this thing. And I'm able to add that to my list. And so this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. But until I asked myself that, it was about serving others. It was about my husband and my kids and those narratives that were so deeply ingrained. I didn't even know that they were anybody else's damn narratives. They were mine.
Yeah, you don't know that it was just what they called the domestication process. We were domesticated by our parents, by our society to, wag your tail. Then I know you're happy. Sit when I tell you to sit. We are trained and we think it's our thoughts. But when you can finally start letting go of, do I really have to wear brown shoes and brown belt? Or can I just break the mold and use a black belt and brown shoes? Somebody might think I'm really crazy, but I'm, like, why do we put so much expectation that people have to constantly fear not being what we're supposed to be? Or why do we think or have to chit chat behind someone's back? Oh, look, John has blue pants and black shoes. Who cares? He's covered. He's comfortable. He's who he wants to be. And it is not our role to dress somebody else or to consider what they should or shouldn't wear or what they should or shouldn't say. Now, kindness is always appreciated. We don't have to be rude. We don't have to be condescending. We can deliver messages with kindness, but we do not have any right to change another individual.
Based on our filters.
Our filters.
Based on our filters. But we do it all the time. And again, I think what you said is beautiful. The domestication process, are they really our thoughts? Or did someone tell you that John shouldn't be wearing black pants and blue shoes?
Nobody
and so you
told
embrace
John.
that as your right. So you embrace that as your thought and then poked fun of him on something that's not even yours. So yeah, it goes so many layers that it goes so deep. And I hope that we can come out of that. One of the ways is by like that rest, taking a moment to pause and cleanse yourself and get free of all the noise so you can listen to your own self and then discern which ones are mine and which ones aren't, which ones serve me and which ones don't, which ones would I like to keep and which ones am I burning.
And just think how restful it would be to not have to try and control others' lives. If you only were responsible for you and you didn't have to, okay, so I was at the hairdresser the other day and the lady in the chair next to me had just gotten off a cruise. And everything she came out of her mouth was bad. These people did this. These people did this. We didn't have this. It was awful. It was miserable. And in my soul, I thought, was there not one beautiful sunset that you were able to love? Was there not one beautiful moment that you had that you could cherish and bring back with you? Why bring back all those expectations that weren't met because somebody wasn't exactly like you wanted them to be, like all that effort, all that sadness. I want to
That's
go
what
on
it is.
vacation to get away from my thoughts. Guess what? They go with us. So let's start changing them now and start finding the sunset, enjoying the butterfly that flutters by, enjoy your hourglass on your desk.
Your hourglass.
It's just simply letting go of trying to have or wondering why other people don't fit in your mold.
Mm-hmm.
How relaxing is that's radical rest.
That is radical rest.
We're trying to control other people. That takes so much off our brain.
You said earlier, change your words, change your life, right? And what happens is that internal dialogue, those words are so powerful. And when you talked about the young lady sitting next to you, talking about all the things that went wrong on the cruise, I thought, wow, pity for her, because she's mirroring the internal dialogue that she has for herself. And she's saying it about other people. How sad that must be. And how do we change that part, those words?
Of us.
Of us.
How do I change? When I get in that mode, I wasn't trying to change her. I was being so grateful that I could love a sunset. I could be so grateful, but that one person smiled at me. I don't have to look at the 1,000 that didn't.
Yeah.
What was that one thing? And focus on the good things.
But the thing is, Laura, I don't even think that if you went on a cruise, from what I know about you so far over this short period of time, I don't think you would be able to see the person that didn't smile at you. I don't think that it would even register. I think that the things that you would attract and that you would notice through the priming, through the way that you're set up, is the person that did smile at you, the beautiful sunset, because we can't even register those things that we're not looking for.
And you don't have to stare at the ugly things.
Yeah.
You can stare at them and pick them apart all you want, or you move on. And that in itself is also radical rest. It's like, here's something that I am not enjoying. I am going to give myself a break and look at something I enjoy. Done.
Yeah. That's it. You choose. You get to choose. You do. You get to choose. Yeah. I love this conversation. Kindness spews from you, like out of you, everywhere. Kindness just spews out of you, Laura. And the person that's listening to us right now probably is filled with so much joy as they enjoy their commute, as they enjoy making their morning coffee or folding the laundry, as I used to listen to my podcast as I did it. And this is that motivation, that bath, the one that you take so that you can continue to feel inspired and motivated. This is it.
Yes. This has been beautiful. I have had fun. I love your calming, beautiful voice. You have such a beautiful voice. I just love listening to you. We're going to close up, and I love to give you the opportunity to just that last minute. Do you want to share how to get a hold of you, or do you want to share a message? Whatever you want, it's yours.
I have a philosophy, and it's called Rest and Thrive. And I hope that one thing that I said today, whether you take 5 minutes once to start that muscle memory of learning to listen to yourself and dig into your deliciousness, or whether you do it several times a day through the hourglass method, do something for you. Gift to yourself, just like this podcast that you gifted yourself to listen to. You can get in touch with me and hear more about my Rest and Thrive philosophy at Coach Shalece D on all platforms. I wrote a book, If You Are Going to Travel, It's a journal. It's called Travel and Thrive. And it's a part of my quote unquote Rest and Thrive series. And I'm sure that will be right in the notes, the show notes that you can get to it. So my friend, thank you for joining Laura and me on this journey today. And I hope to hear from you soon. And Laura, I hope to be welcomed back one day.
Oh, man, for sure. I've had a couple repeat guests, and it's always fun because I feel so connected to them. It's like, please come back. I want to keep talking to my friend. So we will definitely connect. Oh, this has been beautiful. And I'm just like, yes, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I used to have a thing on my cubicle wall. It's okay.
Mm.
Because I'm alive and I'm here and I'm thriving. And it might be a bump. I might be climbing a hill right now, but that's going to get me to the top so I can ride the wind down. So take the breath that you need today. Take the time, whether it's a chair dance or a deep breath or a walk in the park. Take it. Enjoy your rest. And Shalece and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We are here for entertainment. People have been there, found a way out, and want to support you as you choose to make a journey to yourself. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss a next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.